cheating, because when I feel pain, I don't feel
Oh
nothing.
no, we're doing this again.
You know, like zero. Let me finish.
Oh
Zero
gosh.
is you feel
Yeah, so
nothing.
what makes pain
One
evil?
is you feel
What makes pain
pleasure,
evil? Yeah,
and
yeah. What makes
minus
pain
one
evil, bro?
is you feel pain. So there is minus one, minus two, minus three. So there
Dude,
is
I've
evil.
already, dude, we had this conversation like 2 days ago. I already reduced you down to moral motivism. You said no, I'm not moral motivist. You kept crying about it. I cooked you. Problem of evil. I'm living a theist. I don't believe God exists. And it's still a weak argument. I can help make a better problem of evil argument. But like, this
Okay,
is just not.
so
You shouldn't be running this one.
um, does evil exist for you?
No, no. Evil is the privation of
Okay.
good.
So if tomorrow I come to your house and I try to kill you, you can't say no
Why can't I say no?
because there is no evil. Me killing you is not evil.
Wait, so you think I need to appeal to some sort of moral framework to say no? Wouldn't that just be instinct?
No, I
Hey,
mean,
that
yo, why are you
no, that
changing subject?
action just less
So
good.
yeah, there's an easy defeater for that. It's like if he believes, if Grayism believes, right, that it is like his life, the preservation of his life is better than your
I
right or
don't.
belief to take his life away from him, then yeah, he could defend himself against you, right, in order to preserve his life.
I actually don't, but
Because
what about it?
it's a better good than whatever you believe his life is worth. If he himself believe his life is worth more than you believe his life is worth, then yeah, he has justification to defend himself.
No, I hold to the view that my life is worth less than yours. But still, even in that case, I can just appeal to my
If
instincts.
me,
My
uh,
beliefs wouldn't impact my instincts. They just purely react to stimuli. If you
That I
cut
mean
into my tissue
that
and
could
my
be the
nociceptors
case, right?
fire,
Grayism. So even if you don't believe that your life is really worth much, so you wouldn't be able to find any defensible justification for it. If I, as a third party, am a Christian and I believe that your life, and I determine normative, right, that your life is worth more than his belief that your life is worth less than what you could believe or even I believe, then I could have justification to defend you on his behalf or on your behalf, regardless of whether or not you believe that your life is as worthwhile as I believe your life is worthwhile. And I could make a claim that my defense of you and killing your attacker is more justified based on the good that I see in your own life. You see what I'm saying?
okay,
So I
mm,
mean,
yeah, I
Christianity
mean, I see that.
can be claimed, can be justified as even a symmetry breaker in that scenario.
okay, I agree. But now I'm looking at two guys who has denied the existence of evil, and
No,
that's kind
well,
of
Yeah.
yeah,
very,
yes.
very weird.
Evil does not
Okay,
exist. But that's the thing. Like, for the sake of practical morality, right? We don't have to base our argument for the good based on the existence or supposed hypothetical existence of evil. So it isn't a problem for the Christian or even the atheist.
so how do you define
It's just the
when
state
I
of
feel
affairs that
pain?
we find ourselves within, right? The real question is do you believe that the state of affairs is good? That's the real conundrum.
Mm.
Is it reasonable to hold, right? Can you find any reasonable good within the state of affairs? And the answer is univocally yes, you can. It's just,
Okay,
they may not be good in the same way, but that's the whole moral project. How is it that we can find how do we prescribe what we ought to do rather than what we shouldn't do, right? Or what we could do, so to speak. Because there are justifications for why one set of goods is better than the other.
so how do you define when I feel pain? How do you define it?
We already went through this argument yesterday.
Yes, and it's the absence of good.
Pain,
So
right,
God
right,
has
right, right.
denied
So
the
the
absence of
explanation for
good.
pain, the justification for pain is just that it is contingent upon some other cause. It's not a cause in and of itself. So it's not synonymous with evil, right? Or bad, right? It's not the pain that is bad because there could be some other higher good that is causing the pain, right? If I put my
Okay.
hand over the fire, if I put over my hand over the fire and it causes me pain, right? pain is going to have me, direct my attentionality, right, and reflection upon what is causing that, right? And that's going to lead me to, you know, make different inferences or provide different cases for what's actually happening, right? But without the pain, I wouldn't be able to start that logical or rational process to begin with. But upon rational reflection, I could say, oh, my hand is in pain because it's over a fire. Perhaps I should not do that. So it's morally better not to put your hand over a fire than it is to leave it over a fire.
So in your talk, there are two arguments. So the first one is
That's a false
God has
dichotomy. No,
created.
no, you're just shifting the goalposts and you're fishing for a false dichotomy.
What is a false economy?
The rational process is the same. The one which perceives both the fire and the pain from the hand, it's all the same. And where is it the same, right? Epistemologically, how do I know that it's the same? Is because I judge it to be so. That's classical theism. You can't have
Hmm.
knowledge unless you make a judgment about the positive externalities in the world.
I don't
If you if
know
you
if I
if you
understood what.
decide to remain universally skeptical about it, then you don't have a claim, right, to make a justification for the world in the way that it is and it presents itself to you. So ultimately you have to make a judgment. You can't just remain skeptical about it.
Okay, so do you say that God has created evil for creating a greater good?
I just said I don't believe that God created evil, and I don't believe and I don't say and I have no way of justifying that evil exists in and of itself.
Okay, so
That still doesn't
uh,
address asking that question still doesn't address the state of affairs.
do you say that God has allowed the absence of good for creating a greater good?
So you're just begging the question at this point. Do you have a claim about the world?
What do you mean a claim about the world?
So you're just a universal skeptic.
What is a universal skeptic?
Like, for example, I don't question whether the world is good. I say that I know that the world is good. And if you ask me how I reason that that's the case, then I say because I reason with justification that it exists. It's better to be than not to be.
Uh, this is not a proof that the world is good. I think I am a universal skeptic.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So you
like
don't have a claim to knowledge about the world.
I think I have.
So if you well, you just conceded, right? You just claimed, right? Your claim is that, I mean, you just admitted that you're a universal skeptic. So then you can't propose then that evil is something that exists because you're universally skeptical about the world around you. You can't do that. That's logically, that's a non
I,
sequitur. The
like I
claim
don't
to
really know
evil is a
what
non
is
sequitur if you're skeptical about whether we can know the world as it is or not.
okay, wait a second. I don't know what is
That's
a
why that's why
universal.
Grayism when he came here, he's an atheist, right? So he doesn't believe that he believes that there are certain things that we can't know about the world, right? So therefore he's not going to make the error or the weak argument that evil actually exists. That because that's his worldview.
So you think that we can't know anything, that everything is a point of view.
No, his Grayism's worldview is so Grayism. The guy that was in here earlier who was saying that your
Okay.
argument is weak, right? Grayism was
Yes.
saying, right, that for him, like, he doesn't believe evil is something that exists. But in Grayism's worldview, right, his worldview is that everything is not everything is knowable. Whereas my claim is that everything is knowable, right?
How do you know
So
that everything is
but
knowable?
what we agree on, what we actually agree on is that whether or not one believes that everything in the world is knowable versus only certain things are available, it's only a difference in degree, right? We're not Neither of us are claiming that we can't have knowledge about the world. But you're admitting that you believe that you can't have knowledge about the world, yet you're willing to propose that evil actually exists. This is
Okay,
contradictory,
yes.
right? So you're
So
not
so
engaging even
basically,
with like the formal law of logic, right? Like you don't have a rule of inference. You don't have an axiom of like, law of identity. You don't believe you can identify one thing from another or classify one thing from another. Therefore, you can't have a law of non-contradiction, how one thing can't be the same thing as another, right? So then how are we able to distinguish whether evil exists apart from the good? You can't. So that's why, in my thesis or even his thesis, we're both claiming that we can know things about the world. It's just my claim, I would go further and say we can know all there is about the world. Therefore, I can say that the world is good. Whereas he can say, whereas for him, he won't say that the world is or what exists is good. He'll just say, well, as far as we know, there's still things that we don't know. So I can't really say that. I can't say that a God actually necessarily exists. That's his
okay,
perspective, right? That's his worldview. But you don't have that same perspective. You're saying that you can't even, come to a judgment about the world, yet it's contradictory for then you to say, well, the evil is something that exists. All you're just saying is that I feel pain. So what?
okay. So you think that everything is a point of view, so there is no truth.
Well, you would say that. I don't say that. I say
How?
that everybody's perceptions and experiences are real and that they're knowable. They're knowable even absolutely. How are they knowable absolutely? Because there is a God who perceives everything.
Okay, so if you don't have a proof right now that you're right, how do you know that you're right?
Because because if I don't acknowledge or judgments or experiences that are coming from external from me, I might not live. And again, it's better to be than not to be, right? So
Why
you're
is
gonna
it
you're
better
you're,
to
you're gonna
be?
feel you're gonna feel hungry at some point, right? And you're gonna experience hunger. You
No,
can
no, no.
doubt that that experience is real all you want, but if you don't
Okay.
eat, you're gonna die. Does that make sense?
Yes, but you can just doubt everything.
You can't.
You can. What do you mean you can't? I'll prove it to you.
You
Now I'm
can't
doubting.
because if you do doubt everything as you're claiming that one can, you're just gonna die.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. I will doubt everything, even my own reasoning. I
Right.
think that the
So
reason.
that's your problem, right? It's not my problem. It's your problem.
No, it's your problem because you said that
What, it's my problem
everything
if
is
you
an
die?
opinion. No, I mean you have said that everything is an opinion.
N-
Everything is about
No, no,
fate.
no. That's what you said.
Oh, so
You're the universal skeptic, right? You're saying that
I
it is
don't
possible
know
to
what
doubt
is
everything,
universal
right?
justice.
And I'm saying no, it's not because you're gonna die.
Does it matter if I die or not?
And then
Like I
and then you're
can
like, well, does it matter? You're just shifting the goalpost.
how I can doubt everything
Yeah, yeah.
and
This
die at
is a boring
the same
conversation at
time.
this point.
Like bro, like I ask a simple question, you go into epistemology and weird philosophical stuff. Like we don't need to go that far.
Actually, we
Like
do, because these are serious questions. They have to do with life and death. That's why if you don't acknowledge it, you're just going to die.
no,
The
I'm thinking
judgment
of
the judgment is it's better to be than not to be. It's better to exist than not to exist. If you can't agree with that, then that's your problem. You're
why
just a
is it my
liability to
problem?
everybody else. If you were thinking like this on the battlefield, man, I would shoot you on the battlefield because you're going to be a liability to me. That means that I have no way to rely on you, that your life is just gonna, that you consider my life to be as important as yours. You're not gonna have my back. So why would I waste my time with you on the same battlefield and try to protect you or work together? No, I'm just gonna shoot you, and I'd rather work for myself.
Oh, that's sad.
It's not
But
sad at all because I believe that it is better to live than not than to die. You
yes,
don't
so
you
you
don't
believe
share
you
in
don't
that
know.
belief. You don't share in that
Yes, so you
belief, you're
believe.
on your own, sir.
So you believe you don't know.
That's the whole point.
Um,
I I judge that that is the case. That is the
Okay, so
state of
now
affairs, that it is better to exist than not to exist. It's not, I mean, I would say it's
that's
not
another
just a
belief.
belief. It can be justified true belief if we want to bring it there, but I don't believe it justification of truth by belief, or excuse me, justification of belief by truth. I don't believe in that, but we can
Just
just work on a set of, like, experiential judgments, right? And I could say, well, I experience, right, things that could lead me to die, and I don't want that because I believe it's better to live than to die.
okay, I
If you
think
don't,
that
but the thing is, do you understand how ridiculous it is to start questioning whether it's better to live than to die? And once you start doing that, you're just not
no.
human anymore.
So I think if I want to talk with you, I
This
would
is
have to
called
do a
suicidal
PhD on
ideation, sir.
philosophy.
You need help.
Yes, brother.
You need
Brother,
help.
can I talk? Can I? Okay, thank you. If I want to talk with you, I would have to do a PhD on philosophy.
Well, that's the
So
kind of question you're asking, right? So you can't ask these questions lightly. So if you're asking people for what their philosophical views are, then you can't just say, "Oh, well, I'm too stupid." Does that make sense? Like if
but
I
I
if
am too.
if I say, like, I mean, if you're going to engage in like a philosophical dialogue, and I'm saying, and I start questioning, right, your competency in order to
Everything.
do that, right, and I start calling you out on making, erroneous statements, you can't just say, "Oh, well, it's just because I'm stupid."
Oh, yes, I understand.
But that's what you're doing.
Yes, indeed. And I shouldn't do this. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
correct.
You know,
Like, and in all
in
honesty,
Islam,
according to my worldview, I think that you do have judgments about the world, and that's okay. And what we should do is communicate what we think about the world to each other. That's what we need to be doing. If more people communicated about, how they feel, what their opinions were, I think we'd have a better world.
Mm,
mm,
maybe.
Buffalo, this guy thinks evil doesn't exist.
He doesn't think what exists?
Evil doesn't exist. How?
E- even? What do you mean, like the word even?
What?
I know what you're saying, dude.
Like, I think, Abismo, if I torture you, you will admit that evil exists.
No, if
Oh,
you
evil.
try to torture me, then I'll defend myself and probably kill you because I think it's better for me not to be tortured than to be tortured by someone who thinks it's good to torture somebody. If you believe that it's good to torture somebody, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Oh, you're so mean to me,
No,
Abismo.
now do you understand?
What?
Because it's better to be than to exist without torture than not to exist even without torture.
Yes.
So if you believe that it's better to live while being tortured, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
No.
Well, I shouldn't say that on the internet.
Yes, you shouldn't kill people, This is very, very bad.
Again, it's a qualifying statement. Here's the thing. There's nothing prosecutable about what I said. If you
Oh,
believe
really?
that it is good to torture people, and you're saying that it's gonna be, and you're saying, well, Abismo, if I come to you and I torture you, then if you don't believe evil exists, then then you're saying that it's good that I torture you. That's not what I said. If you believe that it is good for you to torture me, and I believe that it is good that that I shouldn't be tortured, then, and if you try to torture me, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Mhm. Okay, now I understand. Yes. Self-defense. Yes. Of course, I
Because
agree.
and it's not because I believe evil exists, it's because I believe that it's better for me to live while not being tortured.
Okay.
should aim not to kill him. We should aim to change
No,
his
I
mind.
would
Like we
still
can't,
motherfucking kill him. It's justified killing. It's not murder.
if he attempts.
It matters. The only thing that matters is whether we have a society or a culture that agrees that it's better to not to be tortured while living.
But you just got
And
done
if you
saying we
live
should
in that
communicate
culture,
our
and if you
thoughts.
live in that culture, that's your cultural identity. No one can take that away from you. That's the basis for civilization, sir. If you believe that it is good to torture people, I don't believe that's Western. That's a Western idea. You're not going to get away with it in a court of law. There's no court jury. I don't believe that there's a jury that's going to be on your side. If you want to take it to court, let's fucking take it to court. You try to fucking torture me against my will, I will fucking kill you.
Abismo, isn't morality subjective? Isn't morality subjective?
No, I don't believe morality is subjective. I believe morality is objective.
How?
What? I did not
Do
know that.
you have like, is it utilitarianism? What kind of logic is it? Which one is it?
Depending on the circumstances, there's different methodologies or ways of justifying objective value. Yes. So the
Okay,
thing
so
is
which
I
one
don't
is it?
subscribe to just one methodology. There are many, depending on the circumstances and the context.
So it depends.
Because, like, if we're
In
asking questions about what is morally good, like morally objective, that's a different type of a question than asking whether it's objective, like if there's like an objective reality to ketchup versus mustard, right? These are two different types of questions, so they're going to require two different types of reasoning.
Hmm. Can you kill someone who wants to die?
I don't know because again, I believe that it is objective that it is better to live than to die. So even if someone wants to die, I would do what I can to see that that person lives. But I can't stop that person from killing themselves. Like if someone's hungry on the street,
You would
right?
not kill
And
him.
they don't have anything to eat and so they don't eat. I believe that they should live, so I can go get them like food and I can give it to them, but I can't force them to eat it.
Of course, of course. Very interesting. What is the definition of good?
That which exists. What exists is good. That's the definition.
Yes, so pain is good also. Pain is so good. Don't you see the problem?
No.
Pain is good. Are
That
you
seems
sure?
that right. Your experience of pain seems to be an issue for you. It's not an issue for me.
So you like having pain. You like suffering.
So why are we going in a circle again, man? We already
I don't
talked
think
about
so.
this, right? We already talked about pain and just and how we justify pain, right?
Oh
So
yes. So
we went through this
the
yesterday,
point
and then
is,
we went through this
the point
twice
is that
today. You want to
I, I,
is this
I
where you
don't
want to go back again?
so, like I don't understand your justification. So we meant like
Okay,
fire
okay.
is
Well,
bad,
well, well,
but
well.
pain is not
After
bad.
three
Is that
times of
okay?
going through the justification for pain,
Yeah.
I think I don't want to go through it again with you. I just think you're stupid.
Oh,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yep. You're just stupid.
Oh, and you're smart. You're handsome. You're a
Sure.
very lovely, lovely,
Sure.
nice guy. I love you, brother.
You
Thank
say
you very
so.
much.
Yep. You say so.
Goodbye now. Goodbye.